everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to speak to you guys today. Today we are going to be doing a little sit down video and we are going to be talking about some underrated literary fiction. Now, I do think that literary fiction gets passed over a lot because it's not as popular. I have definitely really enjoyed finding more content creators on here and other spaces that focus primarily on literary fiction. And it just got me thinking that literary fiction, because there are I know this from working at the bookstore, there are so many new releases every single week. And it's really easy for ones to get passed over, especially once they turn into backlist books. So I thought that I would highlight some of my favorite literary fiction that may have fallen under the radar a little bit, maybe had its time in the sun and then kind of disappeared. For whatever reason, I just don't really see it talked about on here a lot, but I really enjoyed them. So I wanted to kind of highlight them a little bit, and I hope by the end of this video you find a new book that you're interested in maybe reading, and leave a comment and tell me some underrated literary fiction that you have loved, because even though I don't need any more books on my TBR, I always want more books on my TBR. So let's go ahead and get started. First one is going to be The Lightness by Emily Temple. This is definitely, I would say, the weirdest book on here. This is definitely more of like the literary or the weird girl subgenre of literary fiction, but I really enjoyed this. This takes place at a kind of like Buddhist meditation retreat thing going on. So we have our main character, and she has a strained relationship with both of her parents. Her father left to go on a meditation retreat and he just never came back. So our main character, she runs away in order to try to find him, and she goes to this meditation retreat. And it's very isolated. There is a lot going on, a lot of semi-nefarious things happening here. The vibes are just off, and she realizes that pretty quickly. And the reason why it's called The Lightness is because not everyone I don't think, but the majority of the people at this retreat are trying to achieve what they call the lightness, which is basically where you float, like you're meditating and you are able to float and gravity does not affect you and you're sitting there like, oh, you know what I mean, and you're floating. She falls in with the wrong crowd who are it's this group of girls and this one boy. They are all trying to achieve the lightness. And so she gets caught up. Her plan of why she originally went there kind of changes. It's really eerie. It's interesting. You really want to know what's going to happen, and I really like the ending. I think it left just the right amount to the imagination, and I really wish that people talked about this more. Oh gosh. Okay, so this next one was a book that I read last year, and it was so dear to my heart. And the writing, look at how much I annotated this. And no one talks about this. If you have read this book, oh my gosh, if you have read this book, I love you, because I have never once heard anyone talk about this, which is weird because Barnes & Noble made it their like paperback book of the month or whatever it is that they do. And I loved my time with this, and it also broke my heart into a million pieces, which I love crying during books. I love reading books that makes me cry, that pulls really strong emotion out of me. I love it. And this is also a debut novel, which was really astounding to me. He has the way with literature where when you're reading the way that he forms sentences, you're just like, how does your brain do that? How did you do that? Basically, this book takes place on a college campus, so this would actually be a fun one to read going into the fall. I love reading campus novels during the fall. And this is about two boys, and our main male character, Daniel, I can't remember if he was born in America or if he was born in Mexico, but basically him and his parents are the only ones that are over here. The rest of his family is still in Mexico, and he defeats all the odds and gets a scholarship to this like really, really elite, I think it's a New England university. And so he shows up, he meets his roommate, and he, I believe, has kind of always known that he's gay, but it's very obvious that his roommate doesn't know if he is or not, or he is not obviously feeling some type of way, okay? And so Daniel starts to develop feelings for his roommate, but they're becoming really good friends, and he doesn't know if his friend feels the same way about him. And things ensue, things take place, tragedy strikes, and Daniel has to pick the pieces back up and try to see how he can continue to live a life. And this one is really, really emotional. The writing is lyrical, but not in a way that it's overdone. Like the feelings that our characters have really stuck with me, and I haven't read this book in a really long time. It's also about his identity as a queer person and trying to make peace with that, trying to see if this world has a place for him in it, with him being gay and with him being Hispanic. Like, does this world have a place for me, and how do I make it have one? It's really, really interesting, a lot of really, really good topics, and I want you to cry like how I cried, so you should read it. Next, this book cover is so funny. It makes me giggle. He's also on the little spine right here. I love him. This book, you guys, was so fascinating to me. I loved it. This is Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. I believe this is an Irish author. Yes, Irish author. I love me some Irish authors. So this is really unique. This concept is so unique. It really, really needs its due diligence. It needs its flowers. It's fantastic. But basically, this takes place in Greece. And the time period, I really struggled trying to identify like how to best explain the time period of this book. A lot of plays are being written by the Greeks. That is starting to happen, and they are not actively believing in Greek gods anymore. But like, it's definitely around that time. Like, it's definitely around that time period. Oh, the Peloponnesian War, duh. And the Greeks on this island, basically what they have done is they have captured all of the people from Syracuse who tried to attack their island. So they have all these prisoners, and they're like, what do we do with these people? Where do we shove them? Because killing them, we don't want to kill them, but we don't want to deal with them, and we can't let them go. Like, what do we do here? So essentially what they decide to do is they basically shove them all in this like fenced off ravine kind of a situation, and watch as they like starve themselves, kill each other, like basically just try to survive. There are guards, but if you're originally from this island, you are able to go into it. It's just the people who are being held there captive can't come out. So it's like a serious, but like at the same time not serious situation. And our two main characters are obsessed with art. They are obsessed with play, or one of the friends is like really obsessed with plays. The other one is just kind of like humoring him. And they decide to get a band of the prisoners together and have them put on a production of Medea, because basically the plays are like fizzling out. Like, this art form that is these plays is becoming extinct because they're basically like wiping out the people who have created them. So they get these Syracusans, I don't know if that's the right word. They get these people who remember the play, and basically they direct it and have it happening. But the people who live on the island don't like that they're doing it, and the boys, the men who are directing this play, start to see the prisoners as real people and friends, and start really realizing how horrible it is what is happening to them. And things go from there. And something that I loved so much about this book is that it definitely takes place in a different time period, but the language is definitely the language of today. It kind of reminded me of in like Knight's Tale, where it's like obviously a medieval film, and then like the music that's going on in the background is like modern music. Kind of had that feel and I loved it. This book is funny. This book is hilarious. It's hilarious, it's moving. Douglas Stewart and Emma Donoghue have a pull quote on the back if that means anything to you, but I really think that more people need to read and enjoy and appreciate this. Okay, so next is one that after I read it, I did not give it 5 stars. I did not give it 5 stars. I don't know, for whatever reason, I did not do that. But as time has gone on, this story and these characters have never left my brain. They are always in the background going on. I'll like, something will happen and I'll think of them and I'll be like, oh my gosh. So I really feel like I need to reread this one, but that is Euphoria by Lily King. This is actually based on a real anthropologist and kind of what happened to her, which is really sad and fascinating at the same time. This takes place in the 1930s. We have 3 anthropologists, 2 of whom I think they're married, and one who is like a colleague, a friend. And essentially what these anthropologists are doing at this time is they are moving into a new area that hasn't really been cataloged, discovered, anthropologized, or whatever. That's not the right word. Doesn't have a lot of research on it. And they adapt, they live among the people, they basically just try to do the best they can to acclimate so that they can observe them. Like, the idea is never really to intrude, it's to observe from a distance. What a concept, who would have thought? They basically just want to see what's going on. Why do they live the life they live? What religion do they believe in? XYZ, whatever. So something happens to our 2 main characters, Margaret and her husband, her love interest, whatever. And you can kind of tell from the beginning that her husband has his own best interests in mind. He is not really about the whole observing from a distance situation. He wants to be in it. He wants to become a part of these people and he wants them to like worship him essentially. He's like very egotistical. He's like, and he's just not great. Like, you can really sense that from the beginning. And something happens and they need to leave their area and they go into an area which is already inhabited by an anthropologist, and he welcomes them in. And he falls in love with Margaret, and he can kind of see the discourse and what is happening, and he wants to get her out of it, but it's like, does she want to get out of it kind of a situation. The love triangle really starts to get out of hand. Like, Margaret's feelings for the other man really start affecting the people around them, their jobs, everything about their life, past and what could be the future. And they all have to make some really hard decisions, and sometimes other people are making absolutely crazy decisions that make your decisions a little bit harder to make. You know what I'm saying? This ending really has stuck with me. These characters have really stuck with me, and I think that you should test it out to see if it's for you, because it won't be for everybody, but I do think that the people who find it, who really like it, it's gonna be for them. So next is Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. And when I tell you guys, this book had me, this book took me by the throat. Hold on. This book had me so, like, I could not focus on anything else other than this book while I was reading it. I loved the tone of the storytelling. I loved the character, even though she was crazy. Like, this is definitely like a, I support women's rights, but I also support women's wrongs kind of a book. And I love it for that. I love it for that. While also still having a lot of really important themes going on. It's kind of like a double whammy, you know what I mean? This book is about a woman and her husband, and they have both been professors at this prestigious university for a really long time. I'm pretty sure her husband has tenure or something. And so he has been let go. He is under investigation for a slew of women that have come forward saying that they have been sexually assaulted by her husband. And it has a lot of really interesting conversations about consent, because it's kind of one of those things where like they have like a one-way open relationship where he can kind of go do whatever he wants to do, but she's gonna hang back and just chill. And so she starts to question, is this positional power? Like, are these women kind of like complaining for nothing, like you knew what you were doing, but did he also use his positional power over you to make you feel like you knew what you were doing? It's one of those conversations. And in all of this, Vladimir starts becoming a professor at the university, and our main female character becomes obsessed with him. Obsessed with him. She wants to be with him, and while she does have this relationship with her husband, he is married. And so she kind of like starts this plan in her head of, I will get you. You will be mine. And it is so interesting being in this crazy lady's head. I loved it. This is another one that I want to reread. It was just fun while also being really cheeky and smart. And it was just an absolute gem of a time. Next is actually a recommendation that I got from Drinking by My Shelf. Do you guys remember her? I miss her. I miss her being on YouTube. She was so great. I loved her channel. I hope she's doing great. It's Early Morning Riser by Katherine Heiny. And this book is so interesting. There is a lot going on in this book, and also simultaneously not a lot. This is definitely like, there is plot, but this is more of like introspective personal relationship development, if you get what I'm saying. So basically our main character is in love with a man named Duncan. Her name is Jane. So Jane is in love with Duncan. She moves into this town and she is in love with this man, and they start to form a relationship. But Duncan is like the town, not womanizer, but like everyone has been with him. Like he gets around, but he's like super kind and endearing. And so it like is weird for Jane when she realizes this, because she's like, but you don't seem like you would be the kind of person that you would do that. But he is. He's also divorced. And so him and his ex-wife have a very good relationship. They have a friendship. He like still goes over and like takes care of things at her house when they go wrong. And there is also a very endearing character. Like, I want to say like he is definitely on the spectrum, and he is also involved with Duncan a lot. And Jane just kind of is like, can I just live my life without all of these people around? Like, can I just be me, and can me and Duncan just have our own thing going on? And can y'all just like stop depending on him? Duncan, can you stop being so nice so that people want to rely on you? Can we cut this? This is not what I wanted my life to look like. And there is an accident that happens that Jane feels responsible for, and the rest of her life is going to look different because of it. And so Jane is really trying to figure out, like, what is this life going to look like? Is there still goodness in this? Can I get around my feelings, but also my feelings are valid? And so she's trying to see if there's goodness where she didn't originally think that the goodness could exist. And is this little ragtag family that they have brought together better than what she could have dreamed of having, kind of a situation? It is funny. It's sad, it's really heartwarming, and I think that it is an amazing way to spend your time reading this book. All right, guys, well, that is all that I have for you today. Hope you stuck around to the end. And feel free to give me a little subscribe, a little like, you know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed talking about these books with you guys. I am really excited. I have a few reading vlogs planned. I'm feeling the old creative juices flowing again. Made it this long, then this little special message for you, but I don't really think that anyone noticed that I was gone for a month. I don't have a lot of followers on here. Not that I do it for, obviously I'm not doing it for the followers, I'm doing it because this is really fun for me. Basically, something happened in my family that I needed to process. I needed to process. I thought that I was done processing it. I wasn't. And I just really needed to take some time to not deal with things. And I think my little message for you, if you need to hear this, is that it's okay to process your emotions. And you should not feel guilt about putting pause on some of your hobbies in order to process that. I think at first I was just kind of like, I'm the girl who always pushes through. I got this. I'm not gonna cry. And the more that I tried to do that, I think the harder it became to be creative and do things that I really enjoyed. And so I kind of leaned into processing it a little bit and it helped. So just know that it's okay to feel your feelings and you don't have to keep pushing through. It's okay to feel your feelings and it helps you move on a little bit quicker, I guess. But yeah, so be patient with yourself, essentially, is what I'm trying to tell you. Be patient with yourself and everything will work out. So yeah, that's enough of that, but I really enjoyed talking to you guys today and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.